My lovely friend Huda is joining me in the kitchen today and we're going to be cooking with Knafeh.
Yes, we are so excited because that's like my forte.
Yes.
We're going to be making a traditional Lebanese dessert called Knafeh. Now I say Lebanese, although I am changing it up and adding a few different flavours that you normally wouldn't see in it.
Doing a little bit of your twist.
My twist.
I like it.
So we're going on to pear and blue cheese.
Oh, I like the sound of that. How can I help you?
Okay, let's get started with that. If you don't mind, we want to process our Knafeh pastries. So at the moment it comes into nice long strands. We want to get that into little fine strands if possible.
Okay.
So if you don't mind doing that first, Justine, and I'll move on to doing the honey thyme syrup. So what I'm just doing here is adding honey to a saucepan. And this is a super simple, just think of a sugar syrup, you know? You usually add sugar and water. I'm just adding honey and water. And I'm going to throw in some sprigs of thyme in there just for added flavour. So just straight in.
And I'm going to put the food processor on and chop this really well.
Yeah, so we want a fine chop on that. So I'm just going to let this honey thyme syrup come to a simmer and simmer for a good few minutes. And while that's getting there, I'll move on to the filling.
All right.
That syrup is now ready. It's come to the boil. And we're just going to leave that now. Going to move it onto a cooler top just to cool down while we finish making the rest of the Knafeh.
And what is the consistency of this? Should it be finely chopped or...?
As long as we can cut through it and it's not the full long strands, you're good to go.
Okay.
So into the bowl.
Yep.
And then what you want to do is mix the butter with the Knafeh and really work it in there. And then we're going to press it into the pan. And while you're doing that, I'm going to get on to the filling.
All right.
I've got a bit of milk here, which is going to go straight into my pot. Now, I haven't yet turned on the heat because I want to get the ingredients in there first. So we've got a bit of semolina here, and that's going to be a nice thickening agent, and I'm just going to give that a quick mix.
So the simmer, so you said it was for a thickening agent?
Yeah, absolutely. It gives it a bit of like a custardy type consistency as well. So
cheesy custard?
Cheesy, custardy, pear, blue cheese.
Yum.
I've got the mozzarella here, and what I'm going to do with that is just chop it up. And I'm going to throw in my mozzarella pieces, so just a little bit in there.
And how am I going here with our base?
You're doing really good. So just, it's mainly to cover the base so we don't see any of the pan.
Oh, okay, a bit more. And you want to use a pan that can go in the oven because this is going to be baked in the oven?
Absolutely. I mean, the Ingenio is great for that because we can remove the handle. I'll keep mixing this because you don't want to leave it. Once you're up to the cheese filling, you got to stay next to it. Otherwise, you might ruin it that way. So I'm going to keep a close eye on that while Justine's finishing off this Knafeh, which is looking good. I think you're pretty much there.
Okay. I've been really working this. I don't want to stuff it for you.
Okay, so this cheese mixture, see that how it's stringy now? There's still a few whole bits which we're going to melt, but I've turned off the heat now. And that's so it's going to continue cooking, it's going to continue melting.
I'm salivating just looking at that. All right, what's the next stage?
Okay, so we've got our pears and that's just in there and I'm going to pass them over to you.
Thank you. And we've pre-done these pears. We've just stored them in the fridge, so I'll just take the plastic lid off. How did you cook these?
Just poached in a bit of water, really. All we want to do now is to arrange them at the base of the pan in a, would you call it a fan shape?
Yeah, fan shape, why not?
Fan shape. And once you're done with that, we've got our blue cheese that we're going to crumble over the pears.
Oh, this is so unusual, Huda. I've actually never done anything like it. To be using the Knafeh as the base, you've got pears par-cooked. Very interesting.
Yes, and you know, once you eat this, you've got crunchy, you've got sweet, you've got savoury, cheesy, you know, honey.
You describe food very well.
I just love food, so. And that's
right.
awesome. And now what we'll do is if you just want to crumble just little pieces, chopped pieces around there, just scattered, and I will go in and get this cheese mixture ready. Okay, how are we going with that cheese, Justine?
Done.
All good? Excellent. Now, the fun part, and that's just pouring our cheese mixture all over the pear and the blue cheese and let them just fall into the little holes there.
A cheese blanket.
A cheese blanket. Yeah, that's right. Beautiful. Now, what we're going to do is just cover it with extra Knafeh.
Okay.
You just want to lightly pat it down just so that it's together. That's going to form the base of our Knafeh.
Of course.
So when you cut through it, you've got a little bit on the base and the beautiful crust on the top. And we're going to cook this on about 180 degrees, and I would say about 20 to 30 minutes, but really what you want to do is have a look at it before you take it out. If it's beautiful and golden, it's ready to be taken out.
Nice one. All right, we'll get this into the oven and we'll taste this very, very soon. Wow, wow, wow. Look at this. Golden brown, straight out of the oven.
Yes. Let's, get cracking so we can try it while it's hot.
Absolutely.
So I'm just going to get my handle back on there because I want to lift it. What we want to do is flip it into the... How are you flipping, Skill?
Pretty good.
I'll just take that off there. That's all right. Now, get the other plate just over the top.
Yep.
And 1, 2, 3.
Exactly.
Flip.
And this is where a detachable handle comes in handy because you don't want it to get in the way when you're doing that flip, particularly when you've got a hot pan like this and non-stick. Well,
absolutely.
we love that too.
This is the moment of truth.
Dun, dun, dun. Wow.
All
Look
right.
at that.
And that's what you want to come out in one piece.
The pressure was on me. I was scared the base wasn't perfect for you.
You did an amazing job on that, by the way.
And have a look at this. This is my favourite part, that gooey molten cheese just bursting out of the seams.
Just coming out there. And what we want to do quickly while it's hot is drizzle that honey thyme syrup just all over. And what's going to happen is it's going to soak into the Knafeh. There we go.
Wow.
Save the rest. Don't toss it because people might want some extra. So leave it aside. Sure. And then just, for a bit of extra crunch and extra goodness, because walnuts go with pear and blue cheese, right? Just from a height.
Next dinner party, I want to do this because usually I would do a dessert and then finish off with cheese. But this is a great example where you can bring them together, the pears. So it's sort of a dessert and a cheese course mixed together. Nice.
Yes. So now is the real moment of truth, and we want to cut into that.
You can see I'm ready for this.
So can you hear that crunch? That's what you want. And I'm going to cut just like an irregular shape out of this.
We like this to look homely, so not so perfect.
Very rustic, and that cheese is just oozing out, which is...
Wow.
We got a little bit of a cheese ball, which is, yes,
So
that's exactly
good.
what you want. Straight onto the plate. And do you have your cutlery ready, Justine?
But what a silly question. I'm always ready to taste.
You can let me know if you like extra sugar syrup, honey syrup on it.
I would love some already. I just think that little glossy drizzle over the top.
With a big spoon, how's that?
With a big
on
spoon.
top. There you go. Enjoy.
Thank you.
It's hot. We'll just manage it. Wait. What do you reckon? High fives? Done.
I love it. It's everything I imagined and more. It's the sweetness that contrasts with the saltiness, the creaminess, the crunchiness. There's no more descriptive words that I can use.
Excellent. That's what I like to hear. I'm so glad that you're enjoying it. You make a great team.
We seriously do.